Hi there, it's Karen Brown of Just Get It Done Quilt. I have a Stash Buster block today that makes up into a quilt so fast you'll be dazzled. It's fast, it's simple, and it's back quarter friendly. And if you stay to the end, I'll show you where to download the pattern. So stick with me and I'll show you how to do it. Sometimes we just want to make a fast quilt. Either it's something sudden, like a new baby or a get well gift, or we just want to do something easy, or we want to burn through some of our stash. This block is going to satisfy all those things. You can cut it this morning, you can make the top this afternoon, and you can quilt it tonight. So let's get going. So I want you to go to your stash and I want you to find 8 fat quarters. I want you to find them in a variety of saturation and a variety of value. You might have bought a collection, just pull 8, or they can be totally random from your stash. The first thing you want to do is arrange your fat quarters by value. And here are my 8. The line is Little Genius by Quilt for Kids. I only had 7 fat quarters in this collection, so I threw in 2 fat 8s in solids. So line them up, take a black and white photo, rearrange them till you have 4 high value and 4 low value fabric. Then give each fat quarter a good press. Fat quarters have usually been in storage and they have some really sharp creases in them. We need to flatten them out. The last thing we need to check before we start cutting is for directional fabrics. This fabric is directional along the length of fabric, and this one is the opposite. This one's directional along the width of the fabric. So if you can't remember the last time you changed the blade in your rotary cutter, today's the day to do it. You need a super sharp blade. We're going to stack our fat quarters on top of one another, aligning the selvages on the bottom side. And we are going to square up the pile along the bottom. Then we're going to measure 18 inches and trim the other side. I'm pretty confident cutting 4 at once. Sometimes I've done 8, but don't put any pressure on yourself. Do what you're comfortable with. So we're going to trim off the selvages, then measure 9 inches and cut. Another 9 inches and cut. Then we're going to measure up from the bottom 9 inches and cut, and we won't separate the pieces until the very last. Always turn the mat or walk around the table so that your blade is always going away from you, which gives you the most accurate cutting. And don't be ashamed to check your measurements before you cut. Measure twice, cut once. Now we're going to stack them, alternating the low values with the high values, and ensuring any directional fabrics are facing the right way up. Make 4 stacks of 8. Now we're going to make a random cut parallel to the side from the bottom to the top. Then we're going to place the top piece from the right side on the bottom. Take the piece from the right side and pair it with the piece from the left side, and repeat with all the other pairs in the stack. Then repeat the process with the next stack, choosing a different random spot parallel to the side, but repeating the process of taking the top piece, putting it on the bottom, and then pairing up the pieces. How simple was that? Now we're going to chain piece this. Make sure you have a sewing ledge in place. If you haven't seen how to make one with masking tape, I'll connect you to that video up here. Don't worry about pinning. Just tuck it up against the ledge and sew. It took me just over 15 minutes to chain piece all 32 blocks. Now, if you haven't seen my video on ironing, I'm going to put a link up here. Using the finger pressing method takes a little bit of extra time, but the results are worth it. All these ironed blocks nest perfectly together and make the next step so simple. Now we have a stack of 32 blocks. Make 4 stacks of 8 blocks like you did in the first step. Have the seam that you just sewn go from left to right. Match up the corners so they're lying as square with each other as possible. Make sure all the directional fabrics are going in one direction. Place your ruler randomly perpendicular to the side and cut. This time you're going to take the top 3 layers and put them on the bottom. Then pair the right side with the left side with right sides together. See how nicely these seams nest. Repeat with the other 3 stacks. This time it took me a little over 16 minutes to piece all 32 pieces, probably because I was just taking it a little slower just to be sure that those two spittle seams were nesting against each other. And time to press again. These blocks are now 8.5 inches square. Now, if yours are a little off and you want to trim them down, you can do that. But this is a fast and easy quilt, so I'm not going to fuss over that. So in an hour and a half, we have 32 blocks. And better yet, this is a low waist quilt. Look how little is left over. And these pieces that were left over from the fat quarters, I'm just going to incorporate into the back. Now we have to lay them out. So we're laying out the blocks in 6 rows of 5 blocks. Now, I'll be honest, this is the spot where I overthink it every single time. I've got to just be calm. I put my timer on for 30 minutes max and just lay them out. Because I could seriously be at this for 2 days. And once the blocks are sewn together, it measures 40.5 inches by 48.5 inches. Now, I put a border on mine. I just wanted to give it a little bit more size. So I cut 5 strips, the width of fabric, 3.5 inches wide. From the strips, I made 2 pieces, 3.5 inches by 48.5 inches wide, and I sewed them to the sides of the quilt top. With the remaining fabric, I made 2 strips, 3.5 inches by 46.5 inches wide, and sewed them to the top and the bottom of the quilt top. The quilt top now measures 46.5 inches by 54.5 inches wide. There is no question I hear asked more online than what color of border do you put on. If you want to keep that balance of colors within the quilt, choose a desaturated color, like a gray, but in a darker value. So in my quilt, I have chosen this taupe color, which is a desaturated red. So the darker color gives it a frame, so your eye stays in the middle of the quilt, but the color doesn't compete with the colors of the quilt. It was my choice for this quilt. You can choose whatever you want. Now the quilting that I did on this is a very fast and easy quilt pattern. And the good thing about this is that you don't have to worry about keeping straight lines. You don't have to stitch in the ditch. You don't have to follow a line. You don't have to worry if they stay straight. All you do is just make a nice big curve. Make sure you have your walking foot on. If you have the ability to decrease the pressure on your presser foot, do so. And then you just follow it for the next one. And if it gets closer, or if it gets farther, it doesn't matter. It just adds to the swerve. I love how fast and easy this quilt was. Start to finish, it took me about 6 hours to complete. Now you can do this with as many fat quarters as you want to. 4 fat quarters will make a 32-inch by 32-inch quilt. 20 fat quarters will make a 64-inch by 80-inch quilt. You can download the pattern on my website at Just Get It Done Quilts under STASHBUSTER Quilts. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know if you'd like some more of these Stash Busters. Share it if you like it. Give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Can you believe over 50% of the people that watch my videos have not subscribed? Anyways, take care and I'll see you next time.